Hare Krishna. We continue reading from the book Beyond Birth and Death by Srila Prabhupada. We have been reading how the nature of the soul is Satchidananda. And so because the soul is, and because of that, we are always seeking pleasure because it's our right. Enjoyment is our birthright. And now we are thinking we are the body. So we are trying to enjoy with this body. And that is the mistake. Everyone is turning to material subjects for enjoyment and is compiling as much knowledge as possible. Someone is becoming a chemist, physicist, politician, artist, or whatever. Everyone knows something of everything or everything of something, and this is generally known as knowledge. Everyone knows something of everything and everything of something, and this is generally known as knowledge. So we may have little knowledge of what's happening this, what's happening here and there and there and there, or we may be expert in something. This is knowledge. But as soon as we leave the body, all of this knowledge is vanquished. So this is because it's all to do with the body. So then as soon as we leave the body, we forget. In a previous life, one may have been a great man of knowledge, but in this life, he has to start again by going to school and learning how to read and write from the beginning. We all have to go to school, whether we like it or no. We may not like it, but we are pushed to go to school to study. Because he may have studied everything, but we forget it. Whatever knowledge was acquired in the previous life is forgotten. The situation is that we are actually seeking eternal knowledge, but this cannot be acquired by this material body. We are all seeking enjoyment through these bodies. But bodily enjoyment is not our actual enjoyment, it is artificial. We have to understand that if we want to continue in this artificial enjoyment, we will not be able to attain our position of eternal enjoyment. So enjoyment we need happiness. That's the nature of the soul. So we are seeking it like crazy. That's all we think of. That's all we think of, enjoyment, that I'm going to do this, I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to enjoy. Now what we are forgetting is that I'm not this body, I'm the soul. We are not able to understand that. And we are continuing in this, on this, trying to enjoy with the body.
Hare Krishna, Shilpa.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Deepika.
So, we were reading before that humanitarian service is material welfare and it's on the material platform. And it was kind of confusing for me. I mean, so many people do humanitarian service, but devotional service is more important. And that is what keeps us with Krishna, brings us to Krishna. I think I just understood this line now. I wanted to ask you that question, but I was like, okay, maybe, when I read more, understand more, I'll understand. Just now you read this line that this all gets vanquished as we leave this body. So what is more important is devotional service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yes. Thank you.
thanks. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the body must be considered a diseased condition. Right now we are in the diseased condition. We are not, the pure soul, then we don't have the body. But having the body means we are in a diseased condition. A diseased man cannot enjoy himself properly. A man with jaundice, for instance, will taste sugar candy as bitter, but a healthy man can taste its sweetness. In either case, the sugar candy is the same, but according to our condition, it tastes different. If someone has jaundice and you give them sugarcane juice, for example, they'll say, you're trying to poison me because it tastes so bitter. But somebody who has no jaundice can relish the taste. Oh, it's so nice. So then, unless we are cured of this diseased conception of bodily life, we cannot taste the sweetness of spiritual life. Indeed, it will taste bitter to us At the same time, by increasing our enjoyment of material life, we are further complicating our diseased condition. So we are not able to taste spiritual happiness because we are in a diseased condition. We have this body, but now we are trying to enjoy with this body. So we are becoming more and more diseased, more and more keeping ourselves uh, for longer and longer time in the material world. A typhoid patient cannot eat solid food, and if someone gives it to him to enjoy and he eats it, he's further complicating his malady and is endangering his life. So it seems in typhoid, you can't eat solid food. If we really want freedom from the miseries of material existence, we must minimize our bodily demands and pleasures. So we are wanting to enjoy more and more and more and more. And that's what, because of that, we are committing many activities. We are doing a lot of actions. And those actions are going to further create some reactions for which we need to be longer time in the material world. The reactions could be good or they could be bad. But even if they are good reactions, they're going to still keep us here longer in the material world. So that's the reason. Then, as the doctor says, no, if we are diseased, okay, you don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat this, and you take this medicine. So this is what we are coming at. Actually, material enjoyment is not enjoyment at all. Real enjoyment does not cease. The real enjoyment, the spiritual enjoyment, material enjoyment, what happens is we enjoy for a certain time, then we can't enjoy anymore. Then we want to take a break from that enjoyment. Enough now. And then again, we come back to that kind of enjoyment or another enjoyment. Then we say, okay, enough. Now I need to give it up. But real enjoyment, spiritual enjoyment is unending and ever increasing. It's unlimited. In the Mahabharata, there is a verse, Ramante Yogino Nante, to the effect that the yogis, Yogino, those who are endeavoring to elevate themselves to the spiritual platform, are actually enjoying Ramante, but their enjoyment is Anante, endless. This is because the enjoyment is in relation to the supreme enjoyer Rama, Sri Krishna. Bhagwan Sri Krishna is the real enjoyer. Krishna is Ras Bihari. He's the real enjoyer. Then we may say, then how can we enjoy? We also want to enjoy. When we connect ourselves to Krishna, then that kind of enjoyment that we will experience will be unending, eternal, and ever increasing. And that is the enjoyment that we are actually seeking. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna confirms this. Muktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Srila Prabhupada would call this the peace formula. If we can understand this verse, then we can become peaceful. Gyatva mam shantim richati, that we'll get peace. And then only when we are peaceful can we become happy. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if we are not peaceful, how can we become happy? So real peace can be understood as Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. Krishna is the Lord. He is God. He's the controller of everyone, including the living entities and the demigods. And Krishna is everyone's best friend. Suridam Sarva Bhutana. We are thinking we are the best friend of everyone or of someone, but actually the best friend is Krishna. And if we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the best friend, then we can become peaceful. And then we have a chance at happiness. Bhoga means enjoyment, and our enjoyment comes from understanding our position as the enjoyed. The real enjoyer is the Supreme Lord, and we are enjoyed by Him. We are thinking, no, why Krishna has to be the enjoyer? I should be the enjoyer. I want to be the enjoyer. We are not able to understand our position. An example of this relationship can be found in the material world between the husband and the wife. The husband is the enjoyer, Purusha, and the wife is the enjoyed, Prakriti. The word Pri means woman. Purusha or spirit is the subject, and Prakriti or nature is the object. The enjoyment, however, is participated in both by the husband and the wife. When actual enjoyment is there, there is no distinction that the husband is enjoying more or the wife is enjoying less. Although the male is the predominator and the female is the predominated, there is no division when it comes to enjoyment. On a larger scale, no living entity is the enjoyer. Now, many activists may say, oh, what is this? Husband and wife are equal. But we don't want to get into that. The idea is when someone is enjoying, then both are enjoying. We don't see, oh, you're the man or I'm the woman. The enjoyment is there. And nobody is saying, oh, you're enjoying more or less. Everyone is enjoying. So on a larger scale, no living entity is the enjoyer. We all are souls, parts and parcels of Krishna. We are all Prakriti. And we can enjoy when we are in relation with Him. God expanded into many, and we constitute those expansions. God is one without a second, but He willed to become many in order to enjoy. It's like Prabhupada would say, like a father, he has children. Why? So he can enjoy with the children, can have loving relationships with the children. He takes care of the children, he supports them, maintains them, does everything for them. So to have this loving relationship, to have enjoyment. So Krishna, we are part and parcel of Krishna. God is one without a second. But we are His separated expansions. We are not Vishnu Tattva. We are expansions, separated expansions. We are Jiva Tattva, tiny parts of Krishna. We have experienced that there is little or no enjoyment in sitting alone in a room talking to oneself. However, if there are 5 people present, our enjoyment is enhanced. And if we can discuss Krishna before many, many people, the enjoyment is all the greater. Yeah, alone we can't enjoy. We need people to enjoy with. It's always like that. We'll seek someone to enjoy with. If we don't have a human being, we'll get a plant or a pet, someone. And Prabhupada is saying if we can speak about Krishna, then that enjoyment is even more. Enjoyment means variety. God became many for His enjoyment, and thus our position is that of the enjoyed. That is our constitutional position and the purpose for our creation. So our position is we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. That's our constitutional position. Both enjoyer and enjoyed have consciousness, but the consciousness of the enjoyed is subordinate to the consciousness of the enjoyer. Although Krishna is the enjoyer and we the enjoyed, the enjoyment can be participated in equally by everyone. Our enjoyment can be perfected when we participate in the enjoyment of God. So the consciousness is there. Krishna has consciousness, we have consciousness. Yeah, we are conscious because Krishna is conscious. We are His parts and parcels. He has created us for His enjoyment. And we are saying, for what? I'm going to be the enjoyer myself. That is material life. Spiritual life is trying to understand that my enjoyment is when I enjoy with Krishna. Our enjoyment can be perfected when we participate in the enjoyment of God. For example, there is an actor. and he acts according to whatever the director is telling him, then there's a very good movie. But if the actor says, why shall I listen to what the director is telling me? I'm going to make my own, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And then the other actor will say, why shall I listen to the director? I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. Then there is no movie, right? There'll be just clashes. So there is no possibility of our enjoying separately on the bodily platform. Material enjoyment on the gross bodily platform is discouraged throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino nitya stam statikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of heat and cold, happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception of O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 14. Krishna is saying, tolerate, tolerate. The times will change. It is a bad time now, good times will come. It's just like winter. It's so cold. It's so cold. We are all waiting for spring to come. It will come. In due course, it will come. So Krishna is saying, just tolerate it without being disturbed. So how can we tolerate without being disturbed? By understanding that Krishna is my best friend. Whatever is happening, whatever good is happening to me, Krishna is kind to me for my encouragement. And if bad things are happening, it is my past reactions that are coming to me. I would have suffered even more. But Krishna is so kind to me that he's making my suffering less. So depending on Krishna. The gross material body is a result of the interaction of the modes of material nature, and it is doomed to destruction. That's the body that we have. We are so attached to. It depends on what kind of modes that we are in. Each body has a different influence of the modes, like we are in the body of a human being. So the interaction of the modes is to a different degree than when we are in the body of a pig, say, for example, or the body of a tree, a body of a demigod. The modes are acting, but it's just what degree of which mode is there. But all the bodies are going to be dying. Antavante ime deha nitya shyota sharirinaha anashino prameyasya tasmad yuddha svabharata. Only the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is subject to destruction. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. Gita 2:18. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that the body will be destroyed, but what about the soul? Soul is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. That's the living entity is the soul. We always thinking the living entity is the body, but the living entity is the soul. The body is dead. And what is the soul? Nobody can destroy it. You can't measure it, immeasurable. It's very tiny. It's 1/10,000 the tip of a hair. And eternal. We are eternal. We are spiritual. So we are eternal. It's not that we are going to be ever lost or ever not exist. We can never not exist. Sri Krishna therefore encourages us to transcend the bodily conception of existence and attain to our actual spiritual life. Gunan etan atitya tren dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkher vimukto amritam ashnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Gita 14:20. So Krishna is telling us to rise above the modes. Krishna is saying, come to the Brahmabhuta platform. Rise above the modes means be liberated from this modes of nature. Be situated in the position of the soul. And in this way, even though you are inside the body, you can still be liberated, can enjoy the spiritual bliss. To establish ourselves on the pure Brahmabhuta spiritual platform above the three modes, we must take up the method of Krishna consciousness. So how to come on the Brahmabhuta platform? Krishna consciousness. So even in this body, we can come to the Brahmabhuta platform. The Brahman, the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the chanting of the names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, facilitates this process. This is the process given to us in this age of Kali. All the scriptures, they tell us this. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo naste va gatir anyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way to perfection other than chanting the names of Lord Hari for this age of Kali. This method is called Bhakti Yoga or Mantra Yoga, and it is employed by the highest transcendentalists. How the transcendentalists realize their identity beyond birth and death, beyond the material body, and transfer themselves from the material universe to the spiritual universes are the subjects of the following chapters. Wow, so expertly Prabhupada is giving us the reason why to take up spiritual life. Understanding that we are not the body, we are the soul. We all are seeking enjoyment, but right now we are seeking enjoyment with the body, which is keeping us further in the material life, in the material world. But we need to enjoy on the spiritual platform. And so what shall we do to come to the spiritual platform? We take up the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to come to the spiritual platform. Any questions or comments? No, then we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.